Welcome back to our show. My name is Charles Shambry, and I'm a host for this segment. If you're looking for a club, I belong to the New Horizons Toastmasters Club in Tualatin, Oregon. We invite you if you're looking for a club. And today we have here Lynne Foster. She's here to share her story, her experience in Toastmasters. Welcome, Lynne. Welcome to our show.
Charles.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, how's everything going?
Good, very good. You know, it's a brand new year. That's exciting. 2018 is going to be a great one.
Yes, exciting.
Yeah.
So tell us about your experience in Toastmasters, or at least before you tell us that, tell us where you're from and what you do for a living.
I grew up in Marin County, just outside of San Francisco, and I am currently, I'm actually the executive assistant and residency coordinator for Virginia Garcia Memorial Health Center here in Hillsboro, Oregon, which is a large nonprofit healthcare. And I grew up, I actually lived in, so I grew up in California, moved to New York when I was 20 to become an actor, and then I moved to Los Angeles and New York, and then the UK, and then Los Angeles and New York, and then the UK, and now Portland.
Wow,
I know
a lot of places
it.
I need to keep notes down.
Peripatetic. I'm very peripatetic on that. Yes,
That's
I'm
great. So
very
you've been
happy
around.
to be in Portland. Yes.
Cool. And I was telling you, I lived in Europe for
Yes,
3 years.
in Germany.
Yeah. So how was the experience in Europe? How'd you like that? And
Well, you know, here, Charles, I lived in Great Britain. You know, Brexit. You know, it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
Europe
that's right.
anymore.
That's right.
It was great. I mean, I loved living. My ancestry, I have family in the UK, and so it was wonderful. I had a wonderful time, and I loved going over to Europe and going to France and all sorts of places, and that was great. I love it there.
and how long were you in California?
I lived in Los Angeles. I mean, I grew up there, of course, but in Los Angeles, I lived there for 10 years, a decade. I did the 80s in LA.
And then you went to New York, and where was because I think you said before this interview that you did a little bit of acting or was writing.
Oh no, I went to New York to study acting, but
Okay.
before that I had gone to the junior college that was right by our house. Actually has put out a large percentage of professional actors, including David Strathairn and David Ogden Stiers, and someone named Robin Williams, whom I knew there, and I did scene study with him and took Shakespeare classes, and actually knew him down in Los Angeles as well, and kind of kept in touch with him throughout his life, so.
And what was he like?
Oh gosh, such a nice man, such a sweet soul, and very funny. I mean, very funny. One thing that I always tell about Robin is when he was talking to women, he would talk very softly, so you'd have to sort of lean into him. Not a dumb man, Robin. And then when he talked to men, he talked to them in normal voice.
Oh, really?
He just wanted the women to lean in and have their heads on his chest. So
Smart guy.
Yeah, smart guy.
Yeah.
So.
Did you ever expect for him to be that big?
Oh, I wasn't.
Or did he expect?
No, I don't think he suspected he was ever going to be that big.
Okay.
But I don't think we were surprised. But it's amazing when you know somebody and you just know them, and all of a sudden they're a household name, and that's exactly what it was. 2 years. He was on the cover of Time magazine from when I first met him.
Great.
Yeah.
So you are an experienced speaker. How did you hear about Toastmasters the first time? And kind of walk us through that experience.
I had gotten laid off at the end of 2008. It was terrible. Yeah.
Inside joke.
Yeah, and was sort of rehoning and recrafting my skill set so I wouldn't be in that first group to be laid off in the company. And one of the things I did was took a elevator speech clinic at Willow Creek that was taught by Phyllis Harmon, who was here
Phyllis
this
is
evening.
here, yes.
Yes, I know. And she invited me to go to the Toastmasters club that she was forming in downtown Hillsboro with a few other people, Bob Rollinger, and I went there that Friday, and I never left. I was actually the 20th member. I became the last member to help them charter, thanks to Phyllis, and I have really never left. So it's been great, and I took to it like duck to water. Wonderful. It brought together my acting and my writing that I used to do, and honed it and crafted it so it was able to go forward and be a stronger skill for me, and I wouldn't be so nervous when you talk, in public.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And I think you told me that you had experience in doing like TV and stuff like that too, right?
Yes.
I mean, so this is very easy for you, right? You feel comfortable doing this?
I'm okay. Yes.
Okay.
It's been a few
you look
years.
like you're doing all
Oh,
right.
thank
to me.
you, thank you. No, I used to do theater, and I used to do commercials, and I used to have. I think I've done about 18 commercials. I did soap operas.
Really?
Yeah.
Soap operas too?
Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
All right,
But I'm not a household name, so I obviously wasn't that good at it.
well, good. Nice to have you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you've spoken on the international level as far as competitions.
Yes.
So tell us how was the process for you on that, and how did you feel, and maybe share some of your speeches with us.
You know, I love competing. I never knew I'm not into sports per se. I played tennis, but I've never been that competitive, even though I chose to be in the entertainment industry. And I did a speech for the international speech on 9/11. I'd lived in New York for it, and it was sort of a healing process for me because it was different. My experience with going through the Twin Towers being hit is different than probably most people's, because I heard it and saw it and smelled it and all that, and I had some post-traumatic stress syndrome from it. And so doing this speech, I had this one line that always this one thing kind of was around my head for years, that was, anyone who was there remembers how beautiful the sky was. It was such a incongruous thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that one line, I sort of crafted this speech, and I got to do it on 3 different levels up from the club. And then did it in downtown Portland for the world's largest Toastmasters meeting 3 years ago in Pioneer Square. So that was great, and it was very healing and cathartic for me. I like doing the humorous as well, though, so that's because that's my sort of my natural tendency.
Yeah, and that's why I asked you to come, because I heard one of the speeches on your family tree, I think it was.
Yes, well,
Share that.
my family is we have lots of cousins and aunts and uncles, and always have, and we go back, I know, way back, and it was confusing to me how we were related. My father would say, well, she's your first cousin once removed. I'm her, second cousin, and finally it came together for me, and I did that for the club. It was sort of a fun thing to do, because I got to poke fun at all my family members and their quirky behavior, and I sort of was winging it a little, and I think I made some funny things that I didn't mean to insinuate, but if it's funny, I guess. Hopefully they won't see this. No.
Right. So Toastmasters has changed your life, you feel like?
Absolutely, absolutely.
In what way?
I am more able to speak extemporaneously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say and as quite as much. And I have honed my leadership skills, how to take and receive feedback. I mean, that's the thing about Toastmasters. It's not just learning how to speak in public, it's leadership skills. It's mentoring. It's, like I said, taking and receiving of feedback. And if you're in the leadership team, I'm a past president, I'm the VPE now, and putting the meetings together is always a challenge, and keeping people other than yourself on track. And for me, one of the most rewarding things is to see people grow from it. We have one member who, she came in 2 years ago and could hardly say her name, and now she's the first to volunteer for Table Topics, and that's just great. So I think anybody, no matter what level you come in at, you can grow from it and find something there. And it, to me, I recently got asked to co-facilitate a public speaking class for my work, and that's really wonderful. And
Great.
So, yeah.
So obviously you would, suggest for others to...
Oh, absolutely, wholeheartedly. I don't know, and I'm always suggesting to people, and when I travel, it's fun. I went to visit friends on the East Coast, and I went to a meeting in New York, and that was fun to go, and I was a little nervous there to go into, downtown New York, or midtown New York, and go to one, but it's lots of fun, and they all have the same structure. That's what I love about what Toastmasters is, the structure and then the fun and the growing that you have from it.
Great.
Yeah.
So kind of wrapping up here, How do we stay in contact with you, and tell us about your club that you belong to?
I am in Downtown Lunch Bunch. I'm a member of Downtown Lunch Bunch. We meet on Fridays at noon at the Wykert Realty on Main. We're just a block away from the Washington County Courthouse, City of Hillsborough Plaza. And you can find us on that little thing called Facebook. We have our own page, Downtown Lunch Bunch, and we're pretty good. We have our VP of Public Relations is very good. Matt is very good about posting all the time. So we have current information. Love to have anybody visit. You visited a number of times. You should join.
Yeah, I love it. I like your club.
Yes, we have a lot of fun. Yeah, we have a great group.
Great. So thank you for coming
Thank
to
you,
the
Charles.
show.
Thank you so much.
So you heard Lynne's story and how it changed her life and how it's changing others' lives, her experience here with Toastmasters. We thank you for watching the show. Please watch again. Thank you very much.
I remember the first speech I ever gave at Toastmasters. Afterwards, I sat down and I really didn't know how well I'd done. It was a pretty nervous experience for me. I mean, did I remember my gestures? Did I speak clearly? Did I make good eye contact? Well, all my questions were answered when another member of the club gave me my first evaluation.
This was great. Can I come back next week? As we work to create and strengthen this global vision, this universal partnership, we may experience some challenges along the way. Growing pains, if you will. Struggles. Should we let this stop us? Do we give up when things get tough? To overcome the challenges we face, we need to focus on one thing. I had a great time at my first Toastmasters meeting. I had no idea it would actually be fun. I had some bad experiences in the past delivering speeches. Sometimes I just didn't practice, and others I would just get so nervous in front of the crowd. Now, the truth is we are stronger when we work together. This is going to be our path to success and is what will drive us to the next level. When that happens, we will have reached our goals.
What a great speaker. My presentation last time was awful. What do you think?
Well, have you ever heard of Toastmasters?
Toastmasters is really the best kept secret for self-development.
If I were to say one thing about Toastmasters, it would have to be personal growth.
I've gained so much self-confidence and belief in myself after being a part of Toastmasters.
As we all know, great leaders have excellent communication skills. I feel that I have the confidence now to become a great speaker.
I always admire people that could stand up and talk about any topic.
Even on the spot. Well, now I'm one of those people who can do it comfortably.
The progress I have seen in myself has even been noticed by my friends and my coworkers.
But the best part was when my manager saw how much improvement I had made, and he gave me the job I had been wanting for 2 years.
All I have to say is thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters.